Question.
Answer.
As a Packers fan.
Me?
Yeah. What's harder to deal with? Just a totally disappointing end to a season, whether that's missing the playoffs or losing in the first round of the playoffs, or waiting for Rodgers to make a decision every offseason. What's more painful?
On my heart, it's the playoffs. On my mental state, it's waiting for Rodgers.
I think we all thought a decision would have been made by today.
Brandon, I'm tired. I'm tired, Brandon. I'm so tired.
That guy is really dragging this one out.
And the thing is, Brandon, like everyone's like, okay, well, it has to be today. It doesn't, because the timeline, like the deadline that keeps getting said by Murphy and Goody and Rodgers is March 15th. So we literally might be waiting an additional like 2 days before we even hear anything.
Well, I mean, that's fair because like the tampering window starts today. There's 48 hours of tampering.
In less than an hour.
Free agency starts on Wednesday, and most teams are using this 48-hour period to get a lot of stuff done. But since the Packers never do anything in free agency, they're just like, we'll deal with it Wednesday.
Perna, listen, I live a life where my phone is always on silent. I miss all my phone calls because I just don't care. And like all my notifications are all turned off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I turn them on for Twitter. Like, that's how bad this is. I turned it on. So now my phone vibrates every now and then, and I hate it. And I hate it so much.
Like, did it happen?
Because I'm like filming, and it's like, bleh. So every single time.
How did Rodgers get traded?
Dude, there's so much, because that was something that we didn't get, because Friday was a really big day. Like Friday was a big news day, because not only was there the trading of the number 1 overall pick, but which I do want to talk to you about. But there was also Mark Murphy news with the Green Bay Packers, because Mark Murphy was interviewed and basically said that Aaron Rodgers wasn't their first choice. He basically said, like, they're like, well, could he come back as a starter? And you're like, yeah, if things don't work out the way we want them to. You're like, oh, okay, yep, all right. So that was pretty interesting.
See, I thought you were getting mad at me for spitting facts about Ryan Poles. Instead, you were just crying about the fact that your quarterback has no respect for your time. No respect for your time, Tom. Yeah, Lovie Smith was an inside job. Lovie Smith, honestly, like the Bears, they purchased that area of land. I forget what it's called. Arlington Park. Is that what it is?
Arlington Heights.
Arlington Heights. And they're going to build a new stadium. It should just be called Lovey Land. The Bears should just play in Lovey Land from now on.
If this Aaron Rodgers deal falls through, oh my God, there's going to be a new wave of hate and mockery on this internet that we have not seen in quite some time, because all the other AFC East teams fans are going to be like, like, you have nothing now, Jets. And on top of that, Jets fans are going to despise Aaron Rodgers if he's just like, nah, I'm good, bye. If he just retires after all of this, like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was going to be, I told you, right? It was kind of like, okay, the early. I was like, okay, I think he goes back to the Packers or he gets traded. I don't think he's going to retire. Now I think it's retire or play for the Jets. And I think those are the only 2 options left.
Yeah, that was the vibe, really, from Mark Murphy, right? Is like, it felt like they're moving on.
Yeah, it feels like
they're just kind of waiting for Rodgers to give confirmation. But like, if I had to bet, I'd say he's going to the Jets. But that man is sneaky. He is unpredictable. We'll see.
So here's the problem, Brandon, because now there's issues, because I feel like Mark Murphy saying that. So I put this out on Twitter that there's people at 1265 Lombardi that are not happy with what Mark Murphy said, because the Packers usually keep things very, very close to their chest, very, very close. And you saw the reaction once he said complicated fella a couple of years ago, saying that Rodgers was a complicated fella. and the blowback that was for that. So the fact that Murphy said that, and I love Mark Murphy, he does sometimes say things that he shouldn't say. And I think like this may have been one of those times because there's a rumor, and I'm not trying to do clickbait and not trying to push this rumor. There's like, hey, maybe Rodgers is trying to legitimately figure it out. And he also just heard what the Packers said about him, which Rodgers has kind of been accusing the organization of saying all this time for this past year. And it's kind of like, hey, we don't know what the organization's going to do. They're having conversations without me, all this other stuff. And we're like, this is weird, Rodgers. Like, what are you talking about?
Of course they are. You're not there.
Yeah. 100%. But he took that personally and was putting that up. And he's like, I don't know what the franchise wants. I don't know what the team wants or the front office. And the front office before that point, all the way up till January, was like, we want Rodgers back. Goody's like, we want all those guys back. And then Goody said that the contract we gave him was more than just for one season. Then you had Matt LaFleur saying that they wanted him back. And it wasn't until the combine that Goody was speaking and was like, well, we have to see what works out for both sides. And like, that's when you had like a shift in tone. And I don't know if that was something that was brought on because like Goody was like, all right, I'm just done with this crap, or like they came to a consensus, or this is how the team has been feeling, has been keeping it close to the chest. And Rodgers, who said that it was nothing that the team said, it was just a feeling. It's a weird time, dude.
That's all you can go with Rodgers.
That's it.
A feeling.
Shelby Harris is getting released, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then apparently,
I know the Seahawks are idiots. They're releasing Shelby Harris.
And then it's the other news, because like, of course, the main story is Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not saying that's just a Packers fan. It's just like, it feels like the NFL collectively is holding its breath. Like Bill Huber, who's a Packers beat writer, literally just came out in an article, said the uncertainty at quarterback is impacting business because the team doesn't know how much cap space it will have until it knows if he's playing for the Packers, being traded, or retiring. So we're literally waiting for this. But of course, the other story is Lamar Jackson, which it's been very quiet. It's weird. And I'm wondering, it's like, are they just like working on something?